The International System of Units, also known as the SI or metric system, is a system of measurements and units commonly used in science. In comparison to the English system, it is easy to describe units in the metric system that are smaller or larger than the basic unit by employing a metric prefix. Converting from one metric prefix to another is also relatively simple because they differ from each other by powers of 10. Here are some of the commonly used metric measurements and their basic units. The basic metric measurement for length is the meter. For mass, the gram. For volume, the liter. For temperature, degrees Celsius. And for time, seconds. Prefixes are used to describe a power of 10 that is larger or smaller than the basic unit. This is a table of some commonly used metric prefixes and their corresponding symbols. The metric unit of length is the meter, which is slightly longer than a yard. We can describe distances that are larger than a meter by using a metric prefix. For example, a kilometer or kilometer is 1,000 times longer than a meter. We can also use metric prefixes that describe powers of 10 smaller than a meter. Notice that all of these powers of 10 are negative exponents. For example, a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter, or 10 to the minus 3 of a meter. On the Earth, mass and weight are equivalent to each other. In the metric system, the basic unit of mass or weight is the gram. As with any other basic metric unit, you can describe a power of 10 larger or smaller than this unit by using a prefix. For example, a kilogram is 1,000 grams. A centigram is 100th of a gram. The metric unit for the volume of a liquid is the liter. A liter is a slightly larger volume than a quart. Again, prefixes can describe powers of 10 larger or smaller than a liter. Notice that the symbol for liter can either be a lowercase or an uppercase letter L. The basic metric unit for temperature is degrees Celsius, also known as degrees centigrade. 1 degree Celsius is equivalent to 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The metric units for time is based on the length of a solar day. The basic unit for time in the metric system is the second. The relationships between seconds, minutes, hours, and days in the metric system differs from the relationships that we use in our daily life. For example, there are 100 metric seconds in a metric minute. Likewise, there are 100 metric minutes in a metric hour. To convert from one metric prefix to another, first determine the power of 10 difference between them. Then, either multiply or divide by this power of 10 difference to make the conversion. These calculations either move the decimal to the left or the right a certain number of places from its starting point. An easy way to determine the correct direction and number of decimal places to move is to draw a horizontal metric line like the one that is shown. The basic metric unit is in the middle of the line. Prefixes that are powers of 10 larger than the basic unit are to the left, and prefixes that are powers of 10 smaller than the basic unit are to the right. To determine the direction and number of decimal places to move, first locate the starting prefix, then the one that you desire. To make the conversion, move the decimal in the same direction and same number of places to reach the desired unit. For example, to convert from milli to kilo, you would divide by 1,000,000. This is equivalent to moving the decimal 6 places to the left. Here are 2 examples. To convert from milli to micro, multiply by 1,000. This is the same as moving the decimal 3 places to the right. Thus, 3 milligrams equals 3,000 micrograms. To convert milli to the basic unit, divide by 1,000. This is the same as moving the decimal 3 places to the left. Thus, 3 milliliters equals 0.003 liters, or 3 thousandths of a liter.